All right, American Horror Story, Episode 7, Traitor. Now, this starts with the Voodoo Queen's version of marriage counseling, I guess. Hell hath no fury, indeed. Wow, she goes a little overboard there, but as already stated, women, you don't want to piss a woman off. I'll just say that. Then it moves on to the coolest freaking thing I've seen in a little while. Probably the coolest horror homage I've seen since Ready Player One. If you saw Ready Player One, you'll know what I'm talking about. That might be the coolest horror homage I've ever seen. It was fantastic. So if anyone didn't see Ready Player One because they're like, oh, you know, that's not my kind of thing or this and that, there is a fantastic long homage that you would just be shocked to see. I was in the theater like, holy shit. But anyway, so in this one, Joan Collins reprises essentially. So in this, she's making a movie called A Night to Dismember, but it is a play off of a segment in the original Tales from the Crypt movie back in the 70s, an Amicus anthology film. And that segment is called And All Through the House, and Joan Collins is the wife in that, and it's essentially the same story that they're showing here. The episode was remade in the Tales from the Crypt television series, the second episode of season 1. But yeah, the one I remember better, I do prefer the one in Tales from the Crypt, the television series one. But just to see Joan Collins, reprising her role essentially in something so classic like that, and they don't call it the same thing, it's probably rights issue or whatever. It's not told exactly the same way, but it's close. It is a great nod to horror fans. It really is. So I loved seeing that. I was really giddy, like, holy shit, this is a great callback right here. So in case you guys didn't know that, that is a wonderful homage to the original Tales from the Crypt film and Joan Collins' career. But anyway, moving on from that. Madison also kind of gives a little wink there. She's like, didn't you already make this? That was cute as well. Anyway, so then we have Cordelia, and she goes and she gets the Voodoo Queen, and she makes a deal with her for $100,000 fucking dollars, because that's all she cares about, and she takes her to Papa Legba. And this is where we get the big surprise that Nan returns. It was pretty cool to see her. I don't think we've seen her since season 3. I don't remember her in any other season, but I could be wrong. I remember her being in that and, Murder House and whatnot, but I don't remember. Remind me if I forgot that she was in any other season. She might have made her way into something else that I've forgotten, but I don't think so. And he essentially is like, I will help you try to stop Michael Langdon, but you have to give me the souls of all of your coven. And it's like, he basically says, like, yeah, this is the Antichrist, and that the world is ending or whatnot, and they're going to die anyways. But, she's the supreme, and she's just like, I'm not giving my girls up, even though they are going to die in this apocalypse anyways. We know that's not true, since they survived the apocalypse. We know that. At least some of them did anyway. But yeah, I mean, she's just like, oh hell no, I'm not giving my girls up. So she kicks him away, and he takes off. And then Coco's gift, the calorie thing, that was so silly, but this show always has some humor in it, so that was cute. But then we get to see Mallorys Powers. I thought it was an awesome effect when she opens up her throat here on the side and just like digs in and drags it out and then closes it up. That looked awesome. I'm sure it's all CGI, but you can barely tell. It looks fantastic. So when CGI is done right, it can be great, obviously. And then, Bubbles can read souls, aka read minds. So she's brought in to read these dudes' minds. And we find out that Cordelia, now we know how Myrtle is back. And she summoned her because she needed her guidance. And she was like, I told you not to bring me back. This episode, this season's reminding me a little bit of like a comic book, a CW show, especially like the Flash era, whatever. It's like no characters staying dead. Like, anybody dies, they'll just be brought back in the next episode. John Henry's brought back in this episode. We see Myrtle being resurrected, which we already knew she was in it, but how she was resurrected. Madison was resurrected. Freaking everybody has been resurrected from the dead in this episode, in this season. So it's just kind of reminding me of that. I thought it was kind of funny. And yeah, I mean, Mallory is thought to be the Supreme Rising, and that's not Michael Langdon. And when she brings John Henry back, that's essentially her performing her seventh wonder, like proving that she is the next Supreme. And they're sitting around celebrating at the table, like they're just convinced, like it ain't Langdon, it's her. So I think that she might be, but I don't know. I mean, is she a witch though? Is she not some, angel or something? I don't know. Like Michael Langdon is a demon, a devil, or whatever, and she's like, on the other side of that. So I'm not saying she isn't, but Langdon's able to wipe out the world. But if you look in the first season, he's using nuclear bombs. That's the way it looks when they're looking at it from like the helicopter when they're flying away. Or is it a plane? Yeah, it's a plane. You can see nukes going off and blowing up the world. He didn't just snap his fingers and the whole world became the apocalypse or something. So I don't exactly know how he did that. I'm still really looking forward to explaining why Meade there is a robot as opposed to him being able to just go down into hell and resurrect her. Since everybody else in the show has been resurrected at this point, he walked down into hell and grabbed people, so why not the one he really wants back? I would assume that's going to be addressed somehow. I hope it is, because that really wouldn't make sense. And yeah, man, when Cordelia comes in, and because these guys devise this plan, and we see that they've got this, this powder that can only kill women. They're going to kill them all, and then she comes in, she just burns it up in like 1 second because they like doubt her power, and it's like, bitch, I'm still the fucking Supreme, And then they're trying to talk, and boom, she just like silences their mouths. Absolutely nothing, ever resembling that there was ever even a mouth there, just pure skin right across. That was such a creepy effect, man. And especially like later when they're burning on the stake and they have to sit there and take it, and they can't even scream. They're just like, oh my good God, man, those guys got it bad. I also love the irony, of course, of John Henry kind of flipping what Meade did to him. She burned him alive, and he's flipping that back on her. He's come back from the dead there. The look on her face, and you can see like when she's burning, she's laughing, obviously, but before that, Kathy Bates is acting, and this is great. She's like, her lips quivering really, really fast, like she's just scared, but she's like trying to hide it. But then, I don't know, she like really commits to it, and she's talking to Father, which is the devil, and she's just like excited to go to hell, as is where she wants to go anyways. And John Henry has to be the one, because the witches aren't allowed to kill. I don't know if they can. I think they can. She just said that that was an agreement they came on, and she wasn't going to, go back on that, but she was able to get around that by having him do it. But yeah, Ariel and Baldwin are gone. Whether or not they'll be brought back, everybody's brought back at this point, but I don't know. And yeah, I think that's mostly it. It's a cool episode. I don't really feel like it it tells us too much, letting us guess what's gonna happen here. I know the next episode is on Halloween, so I would have to guess that we are going to get back to the real storyline. Or not the real storyline, but the current storyline during the apocalypse. I think I've said that at the end of every one of these episodes. So eventually I'm going to be right? Yeah, I think someone pointed that out to me, like that it was Halloween then, and it will be Halloween this Wednesday. So I hope they're right, and I want to see what happened then, but we need to see a lot more. I mean, there's only 3 fucking episodes left, Jesus. They got a lot to wrap up here, so I look forward to the rest of it. What did you guys think of this episode? Let me know. All right, guys.